Hello folks, I hope you're well. So this one, okay. Before Yeshua came down to earth in the form of a tiny, teeny, weeny little baby of Mary and Joseph. Well, not really of Mary and Joseph, but okay. But in the house of Mary and Joseph, yes. He was able to see everything from the view of heaven, so therefore he was able to see the big picture. Always the big picture. When he started his ministry as a human, now he could no longer see the big picture. So, he had to be led. Of course he did. He had to rely upon the Father leading him because the Father could see the big picture. Yeshua could not. Now, okay, one might think, well, maybe he could remember exactly what he had to do in every detail because they planned it out for all those years. Well, maybe. If he didn't have all the humanity and all the human stuff trying to get into his mind all the time. That might have been a possibility, but yeah. The problem is, as a human, you've got all this crap coming in. And he would have had that. If we have it, he would have had that. Because again, he's not going to expect us to deal with stuff that he himself didn't have to deal with. So he had all of that. He had all that negative crap coming in that he had to deal with. So therefore, in each situation, he had to go to Father. For Father to tell him when to do stuff, what to do, how to do it. Because again, he's not going to tell us that we have to be led if he wasn't led. He would have to go through that. He would have to go through that point of spending time with his Father to be led. And he did. A lot is made up of it. The fact that he went off to pray all the time. Yeah. Of course, because, well, the point of it is, as a human, you're surrounded by people, the disciples, and the other people that you came across would have been soul-led. And so he would have had all that soul stuff coming in, and he needed to make sure that he was spirit-led. All the time, spirit. So he had to work on relationship with Father all the time. And so he did. But again, so when people say, I don't have the time, or people try and use that as an excuse for not spending time with God, because they've got work, they've got other commitments, and they've got family they're going to spend time with. Yeah. The Lord of Lords and King of Kings had a ministry to do, and he still had time. He still had time. He made time. It was always one of the most important things for him to do, was to make time for his relationship with his Father. And in actuality, people in church really do make time for their Father, because if they're led by the devil and they're being led by their soul, by being led by their soul, they're making plenty of time for their Father, aren't they, really? Yeah. 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 But those that are of God, yeah, you need to be led. You need to understand that the Lord himself was led. The Lord himself had to stand. The Lord himself had to go through what he went through and not react. Because if he had the ability, if he had the power, the authority to tell Lazarus, who was dead, to walk out of that cave alive, he had the authority to tell all those soldiers to stop. What I mean by stop would be their body to stop. Therefore, every part of their body to just stop. And they would drop dead. He had the authority to do that. Because if he has authority to bring someone back to life, he has authority to bring someone back to non-life. Or death. He certainly has authority to tell someone's heart to stop. He would have done had he reacted. Because if you're in a situation where you've got people spitting at you, smacking you, punching you, kicking you, then whipping you to the point of death and beyond, yeah, and beyond, because the point of death with regards to whipping, if that's the point of my death, if someone started whipping me to that degree and I was focusing on what's happening, I wouldn't last 5 minutes of that. I'd be dead. That would be before they got to the whips that were tearing at my flesh. Even before they got to that, I'd be dead. So he was whipped beyond death for most people. Then after all that, they put the crown of thorns upon his head. And they were mocking him. If at any point in time he would have reacted according to soul, yeah, it would have been far worse than the flood. I don't think anyone would have survived. You know? Yeah. So every single thing that God is asking his people to do, Yeshua had to do it in far more extreme conditions than we've been asked to do it. Far more extreme conditions. To be led, well, again, if you're looking to be led and your ministry has so much importance, then the pressure on being led and being led right is far greater than any pressure that we are going to feel. Isn't it? Really? So, you know, when it comes down to it, we are in a situation where we are asked to go through the things that he went through, but in a far lesser degree than he went through them. But again, it's a case now of let's try and understand what he went through, because we know we're going to have to go through that. Yeah. The reality is, if he hadn't stood and focused on the solution rather than the problem, he would never have got through the whipping, the carrying the cross, and the crucifixion. He would never have got anywhere near the crucifixion. He would have died before that. Same with us. We have to stand. We have to stand in that situation and not look at the problem. Because we look at the problem, we often think, well, God, you've never gone through anything like this. Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, just have a read again of what he actually went through. Yeah? Try doing that. Yeah. Do that. Go and read again what he went through. Then you go say again, he's never gone through what you've gone through. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, that's what I say. Go and read the words in red. Focus your attention on that stuff. That needs to be the where you put most of your reading. There. In that. So, there you go. I wish you well. Go and learn. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Be a blessing, be blessed. Bye.